Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Demo Day of CC21. I'm Subasa, and I'm an immersive instructor here at Chrysalis. And I'll get into what immersive is shortly after. But first off, guys, welcome to CC21's Demo Day. And we're just so excited to show you our students' projects today. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started, though. We encourage you to tag us on our social media. As you can see, we're streaming live here on YouTube, but we'll also be posting and tweeting on our socials. If you guys want to tag us in your socials throughout the event or after, feel free to do so. Next, we'd like to say a big thank you to all the supporters in our community, specifically those that helped us out for this cohort. So first off, Stripe. Stripe has lent us engineering support and opened up their APIs to their students so that students can have hands-on experience building a full stack product with a live API, in this case, being able to actually integrate real credit card payments into their applications. So thank you specifically to Daniel Hefferman and Kenta Labor of Stripe. Blake O'Hare has helped us out as a mock interview for this interviewer for this cohort. In our cohorts, we bring in outside help to have people interview our students so that they can really experience in realistic terms what a technical interview is like. So thank you again, Blake. So tonight, we have two presentations to show you all. And we'll turn it over to our students in just a moment, but a little more context on tonight's event. So these students have just completed 12 weeks of a very challenging program, what we call our full-time immersive. Students have covered everything from the basics of data structures, computational complexity, into more complicated topics such as configuring ORMs, defining and weighing the requirements of a new project, and setting up a robust and scalable infrastructure. So students have really thrown themselves into the deep end of software engineering, and they've been at this every day, 5 days a week for 12 weeks. So these projects that you'll be seeing, we call them their senior projects, are a culmination of everything they've learned in terms of engineering, teamwork, communication, and problem solving. And we are so excited to show them these to you. So first off, we'd like to hand it over to Team Browsepad. Yes, so Team Browsepad, please get ready to present in a second. In the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about their app, Browsepad. Browsepad is a Chrome extension that helps you take notes more efficiently in the modern internet age. I think that it really helps you doing, collecting notes in an organized manner when doing internet research. But I'll let them tell you the rest. Team Browsepad, are you guys ready to go? All right, please take it away.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our presentation about Browsepad, the app that lets you append memos to web pages and even share them with others. Before I like to introduce the concept and the problem statement that Browsepad will solve, I would first like to introduce our team. My name is Ritwar Sahoni, and I worked as a full stack engineer for this project. Felipe Curry, he also worked as a full stack engineer on this project. And finally, Michelle Lau. She worked as not only a full stack engineer for the project, but also as a tech lead. Now I would like to move into the problem statement. What exactly are we trying to solve with Browsepad? And in order to do that, I feel like I should walk you through a scenario. Let's say you're apartment hunting on this site, and you find this apartment highlighted in yellow. You go through the details of the apartments, only to realize that you had actually seen this before, and you didn't really like this place. So not only at this point did you waste 15 minutes looking through the apartments again, you also don't exactly remember what you didn't like about this apartment in the first place. If only you had a way to make a memo on this particular web page so that your future self could refer to it. It would indeed save time, but how convenient would it be to simply just leave a memo on a website so that if you come across it at a later time, you can access exactly what you thought about the website on your first visit. Furthermore, what if you could append a memo to any web page, not just apartments.com, but anything from job hunting, shopping, writing research papers, you name it. And therefore, we present to you our solution, Browsepad. Let's look back at the same apartment. This time, we see this apartment for the first time, and we append a memo to the web page, as you can see on the screen. The next time we come across the same apartments, we can see our memo by simply clicking the extension on the top right hand of the screen. Let's see what we've said about this place here. It's within our budget, it's affordable, location's great, but the oven placement is a little awkward. It might be a little dangerous to place it next to the front door. And the kitchen design isn't just up to our standards. So what we have done here is we have basically abstracted what we felt was the key information and stored it as a memo that we can access just at the click of a button. At this point, we don't even have to browse through all the details of this apartment because we already know where we stand and what the important information to us is. Not only will this save time, but it will make browsing the internet so much more convenient, especially due to Browsepad's versatility. Because as I said before, we can append memos to any website we wish. It doesn't have to be limited to apartments or apartments.com. Now, I would like to go into some of the features of our app. First and foremost, we have a web app. Here we can see all our notes in one centralized place. We can search for them using keywords, hashtags. We can even sort them using the dates we created them or modified them by your will. Now you must be wondering, sure, I can see all my notes in a place, but how do I add individual notes to certain web pages? Isn't that the beauty of the app? For that, we have our Chrome extension. It comes with full CRUD functionality. You can create, edit, delete notes on individual web pages as you please. Next, we have implemented authentication and authorization. And to do this, we have used JWT tokens to ensure maximum security. Now, you have a note, you're satisfied with it, but you want to share this memo with another user. We also have a sharing functionality which lets you do exactly that. Suppose your friend that you wanted to share this note is not a user, no matter. Our app also lets you generate a shareable link, which you can share with non-users of our app, so they can view your memo as well. Now, Michelle would like to go into some of the personas who are likely to use our app and also an in-depth demo.
Thanks, Rituraj. So let's meet a typical user of our product. Meet Abigail DuPont. She's a student living in Seattle, but she's originally from France. And she's about to graduate soon, but she's applying to full-time jobs in Seattle and considering maybe moving to Tokyo for a bit. So she's also apartment hunting. And if she stays in the US, she needs to look for a job that sponsors the H-1B work visa. So now I'd like to go into the demo. And first, if we go to the Chrome web store, you can find our extension and download it here. But since I already have it downloaded, I won't click it. And I'll just move over to this tab on apartments.com and go to the extension. And I can log in here, put my email and my password, and log in. And as you can see, I don't have any notes here, but let's take a look at some apartment listings. Okay, this one right here looks interesting and kind of familiar. I'm not sure if I've seen it, but if I click on it, I can see that I already have a note here. So let's click on this and yep, I have some notes about it being my top choice. But let's edit this note and add a hashtag so later on I can find it a lot easier. So hashtag Seattle. I'll save it. Great. Now let's take a look at another listing. Let's scroll down. This one looks nice right here. Let's add a note regarding this apartment. So we'll add our title. And you can also write notes in Markdown format, which allows you to include lists and numbered lists. You can even preview what it would look like here. So now let's save the note. And you know what? I think I want to send this to a friend, Rituraj, who might be a potential roommate. I've sent this to Rituraj before, so his account already shows up. So I'll click it and it's sent. Great. Now let's move over to the web app. And you can see this landing page. And we have some information about the product and info on our team as well. So let's log in. Put our email and password again. And as you can see, we have the sidebar on the left. And we also have a hamburger. And if you click on it, it'll hide and unhide the sidebar. Within the sidebar, you can see ways to sort and filter through our items. So if I choose jobs, I can see everything listed with jobs, and I can narrow it down to this one in Tokyo. So let's say I was also planning to buy myself a graduation gift. I can also see this item that I was shopping for. So I'll click on treat yourself. And I can see this wallet I was looking for earlier. Okay, and I can also search for a memo here. For example, a sofa I was looking at earlier. And you can sort by created or modified by date like so. Great, so now let's take a look at my shared notes. So if you go here, I can see that one of my friends sent me a job posting that sponsors the H-1B visa. So I'll click on it and I can see the job description here, look through it. And let's go back. Lastly, I can go to the profile page and change my picture. Let's see, to this logo here. And I can also remove it. Now I'll log out. And it takes me back to the landing page. So now I'll hand it off to Felipe to talk about the tech stack.
Thanks, Michelle. Now I want to go through the tech stack that we used in this project. For our backend server, we picked Node.js for its great ecosystem, and we paired it with the popular Express framework. We deployed the server on an AWS EC2 instance. For our database, we're running Postgres through the AWS Relational Database Service, which we found to be the perfect match for our server, since that's also running on AWS. For our front end, we decided to go with React for its great performance. And we also implemented authentication by generating JWT tokens on the backend. Now, I want to mention some of the challenges that we faced during this project. The first one was using Amazon Web Services. Managing instances on AWS EC2 and RDS requires some Linux system administration skills. So if you're planning on using these services, make sure you're a little bit more comfortable with the command line interface. We also chose to use the Material UI library for our front-end design. And it took a little while to get used to such a different paradigm. But in hindsight, it would have been better to use it right from the start of the project instead of using it a couple of weeks into the project. Another challenge that we faced was developing a Chrome extension. More specifically, using the Chrome extension API that lets the extension communicate with the browser. Since there are many versions of that API, it's kind of hard to find up-to-date information on how it works. From our experience, it's better to stick with the official documentation and to make sure you're following the correct version. Now, some of the things we learned during this project. We learned that React routes can really improve your app's usability. Now, just because you're making a single-page application, SPA, that doesn't mean you can't have multiple views that are shown based on the user's actions. And the React Router library gives you that kind of flexibility. Another learning was using JWT tokens for doing authentication. Now, there are some drawbacks to this approach. For example, the tokens are not easily revocable. So at the very least, you need to make sure that they have an expiration date. But one big advantage of JWT tokens over the traditional cookies is that you don't need to store sessions on a database. So you end up with a simpler backend architecture overall. And lastly, we learned how to publish an extension to the Chrome Web Store. It's a very detailed process, and you're required to provide all sorts of information, your logo, screenshots, description. And in our case, we also had to explain the reasons why our extension requires access to user tabs and also local storage. And also after applying, it takes anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks to hear back from the web store. And this process repeats every time you update the extension. So it takes a while for you to see the results of your work published. And that's it from us. If you liked our project, feel free to contact us and visit our code on GitHub. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Team Browsepad. Personally, these days, I'm on eBay looking for My Little Pony figures. And, like each seller has different information about each product. So, being able to write these kind of notes directly on the page would be like a huge help for doing my research and shopping. So very excited to try this out. Okay, next up is Team Renty. Please get ready to present in a second. In the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about their app, Renty. It's a Web 3.0 peer-to-peer renting app inspired by Mercari, apparently. Yes, and I would love to hear the details from Team Renty themselves. Are you guys ready to go?
Absolutely.
All right, please take it away.
All right, good evening, morning, wherever you are, everybody. We are Team Renty, a peer-to-peer rental service. Brought to you by Mikio Crosby, our tech lead, and he worked on the full stack. Alish Ramanov, who worked on the full stack as well. And myself, Michael Dale, also on the full stack. A brief introduction to Renty. We are a peer-to-peer rent anything service with a focus on minimalism and ecological sustainability, whose feature list includes JWT Authentication for safe and secure login and shopping, payments in cryptocurrency via MetaMask, payments in Stripe, a familiar favorite used all over the world for people to safely make credit card transactions. And of course, you can upload your own rentals, rent from others, and even receive reminders to return your rentals on both your profile page and via email. So why Renty? Well, Renty allows you to try products before committing to large purchases. And also Renty aims to eliminate consumer waste by allowing you to rent items you may only need temporarily. And, well, of course, you can make extra income by renting out your items. And you can contribute to your local economy instead of putting even more money into the hands of industry giants by possibly buying products you may not even need. Finally, Renty allows you to pay in Ethereum. Pretty cool feature we worked hard on using MetaMask. And there are several personas we had in mind when designing Renty. Two of these includes, one, Lissa, who has been struggling with her photography business during the pandemic. And unfortunately, she had to downsize her gear. Quite a painful experience, but still, occasionally, she may need equipment similar to what she had previously. Renty allows her to rent the gear she needs and also to subsidize her income by renting out the gear she still has left. And then we have Kimiko. Kimiko is a software engineer, and well, unfortunately, her laptop just died before an impending deadline. Kind of hurts. But using Renty, she can find a computer she needs to complete her work, hopefully make it in time for the impending deadline, and also buy herself some time and not have to make a large purchase such as a new computer in haste. And so from this point forward, I'm going to kick it off to Mikio, who's going to introduce you to our product.
Thank you, Michael. So let's quickly walk through a demo of our website here. So here's our landing page. As Michael mentioned, Renty is the first community-driven rental platform. We allow users to borrow, share, or browse real items and pay with fiat or crypto. On the right side here, there's a quick carousel to show you and give you a taste of the UI and the cards. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. And we're going to create a new account. Just call it hello@renty.com. And I'll just stick in a password. So once you sign up, you'll be redirected to your profile page. You can verify your name, email. You can connect to our wallet, our MetaMask, which I'll do in a bit. You'll also be able to see the items you rented and the items you posted for rent. So let me log out and go into my demo account. So I'm going to sign in. And you're redirected to the marketplace when you log in when you have an account already. We'll dig into this in a little bit. So here again, here's my name, email. We'll connect our wallet just a bit. And here's a sample item that I've rented already. So I have to return the car by the 18th. And if I click on the card, I can actually see a little notification to remind me. So let's go ahead and connect the wallet now. So I'm going to connect to my MetaMask. I have a Ropstein testnet account here. So we're just going to connect it. And as you can see here, the Ethereum address is properly displaying, which is my public address. So I'm going to walk through two scenarios here, our personas, and we're going to rent some laptops. So we'll head back to the marketplace and trying to dig for a laptop, but it's a little bit messy. So I'm just going to go here and search for a laptop. And here we have two options. So I'm going to go for the basic laptop first. So we're going to put in the dates that we want to borrow this from. And we're going to return this on the 15th. This time I think I'm going to pay with credit card. So everything is automatically calculated. So I don't have to do any extra number crunching here. Hit push. I have all my information pre-populated so I can process. And once this goes through, it'll pop here under my items that I rented. And you can see here the card. It starts tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and then I have to return it by the 15th. Again, if I click it, I get a little notification. Also, I get an email notification. So outside our Renty system, I have a place to store my reminders. And I'll also get a notice later when I have to return the item. So let's go ahead and rent the other laptop. So I'll search for laptop again. And you can see the basic laptop is out for rent because I've already booked that. So now I'm going to grab the gaming laptop. I'm going to set the start date here, and then I'm going to return it by the 15th, the same day. And this time I'll pay with crypto, specifically Ethereum. And everything is FX and spot calculated, so I don't have to do that. And I just verify the gas fee here, and I can go ahead and click confirm. Everything else is handled by MetaMask in the blockchain. And you can see here the item has been successfully rented. So once I pay with Ethereum, this time it's different than Stripe with the credit card. So I can actually confirm that my Ethereum has been paid and everything has been settled on Etherscan. So I can click this link, which jumps me to Etherscan, and I can see here that my status has been successful, payment has gone through, and the block has settled. Also, I get another email notification from the gaming laptop. So this is good for tracking. So now that I've rented two laptops, I'll probably rent out my own personal laptop, which is a MacBook, so I can earn some extra change to pay for these other ones. So I have a MacBook Air. I'm going to select the picture, stick in a quick title, MacBook. Description, I have the new M1 chip, so I'm going to stick that in there. And for the tags, I'll select Apple and MacBook. And the price, 2,000 yen, seems reasonable to me. So I'll click submit. And after a few seconds, it'll hit our database, and I'll be able to see the item that I've posted for rent. And that's the picture I chose, and everything has successfully gone through. So if I now go to the marketplace, it'll be the first one shown, and it successfully went through. So in hindsight, I actually think that I need to get it back because I have a project due. So I'm gonna actually delete my post just to make sure there's a prompt there to make sure that I don't mistakenly delete it. And it's now disappeared from the marketplace, which we can verify here. And that basically concludes our demo. So I'll go ahead and log out. And now I'll pass it back to Alisher, who's going to describe our learnings, some of our challenges, and also our tech stack that we used.
Thank you, Mikio. So I will talk about technologies we use for this project. And for the front end, we decided to use React for building the user interfaces and Redux for state management. For styling the app, we used the CSS library Material UI. And for the backend, so we decided to use NoSQL database MongoDB to store user and product information. And to build the backend of application, we decided to use Nodejs along with Express. For securing the API endpoints and user authorization, we used JWT along with Bcrypt. And for the safe and efficient payment processing, we use Stripe. We also used email.js to send confirmation emails to users when they make orders. And finally, our app is deployed on AWS EC2 instance. As you already saw during the demo, we can make payments using cryptocurrency. For this, we use MetaMask, which is a cryptocurrency wallet, Ethers.js library that allows us to create applications that interact with Ethereum. Now I will talk about the challenges we faced during the project. So one of the challenges we faced actually was deploying the app on the initial stage. So it was a challenge to figure out what EC2 options to select for the server. And also learning to work with the Nginx and the AWS command line interface was another challenge related to the deployment. And JWT, since JWT was a new concept for us, understanding how it works and integrating it to the existing project took us some time. And Stripe, we had experience of integrating Stripe to Vue app, but using Stripe with the React was new for all of us, especially figuring out how to create the product information, including the Stripe price ID on the backend, and passing this information to the Stripe process the payment was a good learning for us. And lastly, Redux. So in React and probably in other frameworks as well, communication between two components that don't have a parent-child relationship is discouraged. So the basic advice is setting up a global event system, and that's where Redux comes into play. However, Redux has a strict guidelines about how code should be organized and maintained throughout the development process. So following this procedure throughout the development process is quite a bit of challenge, especially for the Redux beginners. And the learnings, teamwork with a large code base. We learned how to delegate tasks to structure the code so that every team member follows the same principle and standards and uses the same variable component naming conventions. We also learned how good commits are important during the teamwork, and we also learned how to resolve merge conflicts. Small tasks can bring large problems. During the development process, we realized that the tasks we thought that were trivial and wouldn't take much time to solve actually turned out to be more complex and required thorough planning before taking any actions. Deployment. We learned that the deployment process offers numerous challenges, especially with a complex platform such as AWS. So choosing the right platform depending on your application's current and future requirement is crucial. And also deciding what platform to use in the beginning of the development process is important because the choice will influence the scope and the project structure as well. And that's conclude our presentation. And please make sure to check our app on rentyhq.com. Thank you for your attention.
All right. Thank you, Team Renty. Yeah, I guess once you guys have a reputation/review system in place, I'd love to start renting out my cosplay wardrobe. Then, it's like I could, start getting some passive income, getting some ether with my collection. I'm super excited. All right. Thank you all to the students for their incredible effort. We'd like to really shout out to our community, not just the people that we named earlier, but also to all of you guys watching. Thank you for your energy, folks. To CC21, your journey is not quite over. Right? Tomorrow is graduation. And for Monday, you guys are going to begin the job hunt. But you won't be alone, of course. The students, the staff, and our wonderful career support team will be there to continue supporting you in this amazing transition in Korea that you guys will be having. Yeah, our goal with this course is to get students to a point where they're autonomous and confident enough to take on challenges that even to some of us instructors are unfamiliar and new. Case in point, a lot of the tech you guys saw students using for these projects were things they picked up on their own. Things like MetaMask integration, the Chrome extension API, MongoDB. And I hope that it came through in our course that this course not only teaches tech, but also communication, empathy, autonomy, self-awareness, all of which we strongly believe are necessary to get this far as a full stack dev, and all of which I think the students you saw today are highly skilled in. So to anyone who is watching, who is intrigued and interested in maybe taking one of our courses and would like to find out more about what kind of tech students end up learning by the end, I hope this event was informative for you. Before we close, let me introduce you to a couple of upcoming events as well. So we have CC23. It's another cohort. It's 2 cohorts junior to this cohort. They will be having hackathon night, this time with Vonage. They're one of our partners. They'll be creating an application in 4 days with their API. So please feel free to check that out, 7:30 p.m., September 17th. Immersive, for those who just got hooked by what I was saying about the immersive, maybe changing your life, changing your career. Yes, our next window of opportunity is starting in November 2021. Suggested deadlines are as on the slide. Do feel free to check out our website to go look into the details. And for immersive part-time, for those who don't think that you could become a software engineer or gather those skills while you still have to work a full-time job, you might be surprised. We have a part-time program where students come in. Often a lot of them do work full-time jobs, and they'll be coming in on weekday evenings and weekends to take our immersive over an extended period of 6 months. I'm actually impressed to see that they bring a lot of energy and actually a lot of accomplishment into our cohort. We'll be having a demo day for these guys as well. We'll be releasing dates for that as well. But yeah, this is a very cool program that we share as well. Next window of opportunity for this one on the slide as written, January 25th. Feel free to check that out. Foundations. For those who are just considering whether they want to learn programming, be that for changing your career, or maybe you have an engineer-facing job like you're in IT sales or design, maybe you're a project manager. Foundations is a great place to get the logical thinking and IT literacy and basic programming skills necessary to interface with engineers, and also consider and start on your own coding journey. I personally taught this for a year or two. It's a very cool curriculum. I sincerely hope you guys consider that as well. And yeah, thank you. Essentially, I'm just honored that I got to be part of these engineers' journeys. Thank you, CC21, for your energy and for your effort. All 6 of you guys, thank you. And thanks for all the staff. Thank you to you viewers. I'm excited to witness what these wonderful new engineers will be doing out here in the tech industry. Take care and see you at the next event.